So I've just watched the vengaboys Sha-Lalalala song, and I was gonna make a video before and just briefly talk about the housemates that you've chosen, but I don't just want to just complain about them, which is pretty much all I actually want to do. But yeah, I feel like I need to explain. I made a picture where I was just like listing randomly the ones that I would evict in order. I mean, I think you've got such a crappy bunch, but then again, coming to think about it, I'm thinking about all the other houses that you've had, and I think I always think that you have a crappy bunch at the beginning. I mean, I didn't even want to be on the show until Nikki was on because I thought all the housemates were crappy. So, yeah, I think I've always seen all the housemates as being crappy, and Nikki and Pete and the twins, and there was one girl actually who went in there because she wanted to save the world. I felt like that was a brown haired person. She interested me, and there was that Chanel, and I don't know. There's a few of them that have stood out as being interesting. And there was some fight scenes in the third series, which um, kind of sparked. I don't think I saw number two either. I definitely didn't see the first one. I made a point of not seeing the first one because everyone loved to go on about how the first one was the best, and um, from what I saw, it was just normal people. So I never. I think a lot of people have this idea that if something's older or first, it's the original, and therefore it's the best. And I really didn't agree with them. Hence why I never made a point of watching that one. Nor the second one. The second one, the house looked too horrible that I didn't want to watch it. Um, and plain. It looked too plain. The third one, there was some cool fight scenes in the third one, so that was what kind of got me interested in Big Brother in the first place. It's like, oh wow, you can watch people fight. That's kind of cool. But you kept stopping them, so that was annoying. And then you had all these horrible bird sounds, and you couldn't even hear the conversations, and it's just like, oh. But yeah, I think it's kind of common for me to not like the housemates when they first go in, and then kind of warm up. You know, you don't like people, and then you start getting to know them, and then you feel like you can like start liking them more and more. So that's kind of how it is. Yeah, with this house, I think it was obvious that I wasn't going to like the Muslim lady as much, Frida. She seems a bit scatty, a bit overly happy, but not necessarily realistically happy, and I think she's quite backwards. I posted something on Twitter today where I was saying that anyone that had that Jordan guy, I think it is his name Jordan, the posh one, whose energy is incredibly low, and like seriously, every time I put play, every time he's on the screen, I just want to fast forward it because I'm like, oh, I can't listen to this. It's draining, it's moany, it makes me feel suicidal listening to him, and yet and I've seen a couple of people on Twitter sort of complimenting how funny he is, and I'm just like, no, 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 no. So I made a comment saying how anyone who thinks that he's funny is I feel sorry for, because he's not very energetic, and I wouldn't want to be around him. Let's just say that. And then as soon as I go and look at a video with Frida talking, I noticed, I think I have seen that clip before, but I didn't know any of the names, so I had no idea like who she was referring to or anything. But I've actually looked at the names. That's how I've managed to remember Jordan's name, because I was like, okay, she thinks Jordan is the funny one. Which one's Jordan? And it's like, oh, it's that one that I said I feel sorry for anyone who thinks that he's funny. So yeah, you can tell that she's backwards for that. And she's also saying how, oh, everyone loves me, and they're all doing this sort of heart sign. And then I'm just thinking of that beast, the angel of the beast that I call her. She did the heart sign in her song, which is actually just about killing people. And then you've got what else did you say? Oh, she has a lot of respect for that Thai looking person. Nick Zach, I think his name is. And yeah, I haven't been watching Zach. He seems kind of more intelligent than some of them, so I give him credit for that. But yeah, he did that completely appalling thing where they had pictures of and everyone was crying over their photograph. I would have been wanted to be in that room. If I was in that room and they were giving out these pictures of their families and crying over it, I would have just left the room. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this, because this is ridiculous. You've been in a house for a week. How can you miss your family? And I was tempted to say something like that, but then I realized, wait, that these are people from foreign countries who are coming to England, so they're probably sad because they haven't been around their family. Maybe they've been in England for a couple of years, maybe they're not visiting their family. And then I'm just like, well, why are they not visiting their family? I mean, if you're here because like he said, he said he was doing everything for his mum, and he's everything that he's doing in England is all for his family, or it's for mum specifically. And it's just like, well, does your mum want you to be here? I mean, does she really like you? If she likes you, surely she would want you to be with her. And then it's just reminding me of how angry I feel over this world because they're not here with me. I think there's a lot of people that would say that they, do things for God and they love God, and yet I'm God, I'm on earth, no one's here, no one's helping me. And so what he was saying was kind of reminding me of that, and just him saying that he does a lot for his mom. And then I'm thinking, well, there's a lot of people that say they do a lot for God, and yet here I am alone. Okay, people are making songs for me and stuff, but it's just like, is this really for me? I feel like it's a lot of it's evil, and a lot of it's just going to cause a lot of suicide. And there's some happy songs like this Sha-Lalalala song, which is nice, but at the same time it does just, it emphasizes tits and girls and prettiness, and it's just like, is this really what I want to be promoting? No, not really. But I guess in a world that's as awful as this one, I don't know if I want to be promoting anything. But yeah, it's a good song, and it's a happy song, which also then reminded me of yes, the song reminds me of the presenter, and the Will Young guy, the Will Young, who I've named Angel of the End Game, which is kind of what I'm wanting. I'm wanting to get onto Big Brother. I think I need to go on to an IK version for a time, just as a normal person, and then later go into a different one, which will probably be run by Disney or Warner Brothers or something like that. Maybe Netflix. I don't know. Technically, I'd want it to be on all the channels. I don't really feel safe in America, but if I'm in a hidden location, I don't think it really matters. And I feel like England's just too good at hiding me, so I feel kind of a large amount of hatred for England for doing this. You might say it's for my protection, because I think that a lot of people in this world actually want me dead, when really they'll claim, like that Frida woman, that they worship God and they're being faithful to God and stuff. And it's just like, no, actually everything you believe in is something that I don't agree with. I don't think this is a very happy house. This video is what a happy house looks like, and your video is just, and the house does not look fun. And you said you really wanted Zach to win and stuff, and yet Zach is the same person who, the only thing that I remember of him is him going on about how he does everything for his mom, and yet he's not with his mom. And by the tears that he was crying, it seemed like he hadn't been with his mom for a very long time. They've been in the house for a week. That's not how you would cry if you've haven't seen your mum for a week. That's how you'd cry if you haven't seen her for a long time. So I don't know what he's doing. Maybe his family is genuinely poor, and maybe he is generally earning money to send back. But surely you is a better thing than money. You need to send money so they have a decent house. But you being with your parents or your mum, especially if your dad's died, this is important, and not just creating a better life for yourself and sending money back every now and then. It's not my place to say if he's sending money back. I don't know his life. I don't know anything about him. That is literally the only thing that I said, that I heard or knew of him. And then I'm linking it to the Frida woman, who is completely backwards. She's like the opposite of what I agree with. And yeah, she was saying that she wants him to win, the guy who pretends, or maybe he does generally want to be with his mum. But if he wanted to be with his mum, why is he in England? Why is he not with his mum? And then there was another story about the father who died but was in the military and taught her how to love. And that just reminded me of God the Father, how, everyone thinks God the Father is so loving and kind, and they've, brings so much love and joy, and yet he actually, the Bible is all just about a male God that wants war. And so they're ignoring that fact. And that colored person reminded me of a sort of younger version of the woman who gave me a lying report saying that I'm incapable of looking after a baby, and my sister's baby is in foster care and has been in foster care since July, because of that bad report that this woman has made against me. Now, if she was doing it out of hidden knowledge by something told by someone else, maybe, I was believing that I wasn't going to have my sister's child just because I was going to get onto Big Brother, and we're going to test the world to see if everyone can do a viability test on me to see if I can look after a child. Now that was the plan, and I'm not in Big Brother, and I'm just like, well, is that even going to happen? I mean, if that doesn't happen, then that means that lady basically gave me a bunch of shit, a report full of lies, and a child has ended up in foster care because of just that woman being a bitch. And therefore, if that is the case, then I hate her. And this other person on Big Brother, one of them reminds me of that lady. And I don't know. On the surface, things look good, and then you just look deep into it, and you just think this is a nightmare. And then you've got the one who's changed her sex because she wasn't happy with her original sex. If that's how you, if that's what you want to do, then it's your life, your choice and stuff. But I feel like with her, I felt she was very insecure in the beginning, and then I seem to notice that she's making a repetitive, complaining, moaning, never happy. And if people are going to change their sex just because they're not happy with what they're given, then, or the sex that they're given, I feel like it's more psychological. It's not about wanting a particular sex. It's just about wanting something different from what you're given. And if I'm going to watch it and watch her and see if she does that same thing. If she constantly is given stuff, there's so many people that would love to be in that show, and she's in there and she's just already complaining about not wanting to sleep outside and stuff. I like the tent idea. There didn't seem to be any cameras in there, so you get a bit more privacy. I like the tent idea. And yet some people just focus on the negative and just aren't happy with anything. And yeah, so that's what these annoying housemates are teaching me. I hate the annoying ones, but unfortunately, I do learn things from them, even though I don't really appreciate them. The blonde, trampy, trashy one kind of reminds me of the Snow White girl. Only the Snow White girl is hugely talented and a really, really good dancer. I mean, this girl was supposed to be a dancer, but I haven't really seen anything that impressive from her. And she talks, I can't even mimic her accent, but it's just like, she talks like she's someone who's been living in a bin all her life and then just walked out of it and then walked into the Big Brother house, and then that is being very rude, yes, but that's why I like her though, because she looks like she's just come out of a bin and gone into a Big Brother house, so we can watch trashy people on TV. I mean, why is the world interested in this? I don't know, but I am still learning things from. I learn things from trashy people, and yeah. And what other ones are there? Can't remember. But yeah, I just thought I'd just say that. What other ones are there? Henry's a bit of a snob, poshy snob, but he's not getting on my nerves that much. There's another blonde one in there that seems to be keeping calm. I'm a fan of Paul. I think he's the only one that I find quite interesting, or the only one that I would find really like I would want to hang out with. He's about the only one. And that NHS woman, I feel like she stands as a perfect example of someone who needs the NHS and wants to do right by the people, but has very little ability to recognize what God wants. And it's more just about the physical things, the physical world around her. I don't think she's got much of a spiritual discernment, or there's not much truth in her view of God. I feel like her view of God, her connection to God is very, very weak. And And yeah, and I noticed also the coloured one who looked like the woman who stole my sister's baby away from me. Her name is Trisha or Trish, which looked a bit like trash. I did notice that, but and and the Chinese one hasn't annoyed me, but she was talking about a boyfriend actually, how she really loved her boyfriend, and she was crying over it. But at the same time, it's like, well, if you really loved him, surely you would be with him. Like if he's not in England, why would you not just go to his country and or wherever he is? And that annoyed me. If you love someone and they love you, why would you not just be with them? Why is work and earning money more important than being with someone you love. It's like that whole scene was just about people demonstrating love that might not necessarily be real love. You know, um, the person who had the father that died, she called him a hero and stuff, and maybe he was and stuff, but yeah. If he's not around, then it's like, well, you've lost your hero. So if you see it in that way, it's quite a sad way of looking at things, you know.